I'm the mother of 3 children. One of them is a child with a profound disability. He is affected by encephalopathy due to a metabolic, progressive, and fatal disease, a mitochondrial illness. As a mother, I want to say some thank yous. First of all, I want to thank Mrs. Kate James and Mr. Thomas Evans. What a brave mom and dad. You're the mom and dad that everyone would like to have, who fight for their son's life with all their strength. When you tried to legally discharge your son from the hospital, you, Tom, reminded me of Saint Joseph when the angel came, appeared to him and said, "Get up, take the child and his mother and escape to Egypt. Stay there until I tell you, for Herod is going to search for the child to kill him." If I were your mother, and advice I could be, I would be so proud of you. I am so proud of you. Listening to you speaking, reading what you write is so inspirational. Finally, a woman and a man who speak with straight, clear, true, direct words, calling things with their proper names, without hypocrisy. It is so good to listen to you. I thought there is hope for humanity. Thank you. Thank you so much. You said so clear things. It is so clear, in fact, that if you decide the date and the place of someone else's death, you are murdering him. Someone says this is euthanasia, but it's not, because euthanasia is when someone, or if he cannot, his legal representative, asks you to kill him. When you kill someone who doesn't want to be killed, and Alfie's parents certainly don't want that, well, Jesus is just a name. It's a homicide. It doesn't matter if one can go to a court and get a paper that allows him to do it and protects him from going to jail. It doesn't change the nature of this act. Someone says, "You don't know the clinical condition of the child." Well, I don't need to, because I know that killing someone is always wrong, and no excuses or exceptional case can be allowed unless we want to destroy our society. If we admit killing someone if he has a disability, as for Alfie, or if he's too ill, too young, too old, too black, too Jew, too Catholic, too whatever, you can go on forever. If you can kill someone because his life is not producing or his brain is not working properly, then what will happen to all our children, to people with disability, old people with dementia or Alzheimer, people with terminal cancer or other diseases, soldiers, firemen, policemen who served their countries and lost their health in order to protect us? Everyone would be in danger. Someone might say this is not an homicide because you were just withdrawing ventilation, not actively giving the child high dosage of some medication. Well, that's wrong. It's easy to understand if you think about food. An healthy newborn needs food to grow. If I don't provide it, and certainly he cannot provide it for himself, and he dies for starvation, well, I am responsible for killing him, because I took off something necessary. And my crime is absolutely not less horrible if my child has disability. Actually, it's even worse, because it's so easy to perpetrate crimes against the most vulnerable of us. Ventilation is exactly the same thing. It is not a therapy because you can survive on a vent, but definitely Alfie will not get mended by his ventilator. And believe me, one can die when his time comes with a ventilator on, and half an hour after his last meal. Even admitting that ventilator is a therapy and it's not, you cannot say it is futile. Well, in fact, you want to turn it off for the opposite reason, because it's working. It's doing its job. It's keeping the child alive. Really, you admitted that you want to eliminate the child because you judge that his life is futile, that the child is futile, not his treatment. A human life never becomes futile. Humans never transform into plants or into animals that you can kill when it suits you because they're challenging to care for or they're too costly. I want to thank the doctors, the one who are doctors. You are the doctors. You save people. You fight with us against the enemies, against illness, accident, injuries, everything bad that can happen. You save lives. You are our heroes. What's going on in here? We don't expect you to give up. Please, don't betray the Hippocratic oath to never kill anyone, even when asked for. We need to trust you and rely on you. We don't expect you to give up. Of course, it's not always possible to cure every illness. If you cannot cure someone, you can still care for him till his natural death occurs, or pass him to other doctors who might have a better go. Why do you give up? Are you aligned with the enemy because you cannot win it? Are you servants of the illnesses, the bad, the darkness? We never expect you doctors to administer death as a solution to your lack of power. It is as if you blind me because you don't have glasses to give me. Well, actually, it's a little bit worse, isn't it? Death is never an act of compassion. And it's pretty obvious to anyone that death is never in the best interest of any living creature. We help people die controlling their symptoms, relieving pain, surrounding them with love of their families and friends, not causing death, withholding or withdrawing treatments. Are we helping someone die, or are we making someone die? Alfie is at the moment actually not even dying at all. There is something so wrong in taking someone else's life. These young parents entrusted you with their son's life, and you take it. It's so unfair. Same thing for judges and magistrates. You are there to protect the lives of the weakest, not to decide if they should live or not. That's certainly not up to you or to anyone, or especially in countries where death penalty has been abolished. Anyway, in countries where death penalty is still there, it is given to people who committed a crime, or at least that are considered dangerous. How dangerous and powerful must be this little 23-month-old child. The bed of an intensive care unit on life support. It shakes your society from the bottom. He's certainly a very important terrorist, isn't he? That you surrounded the hospital with police and stopped the airplanes to fly, have police surveilling him, and what a zealous judge that wakes up in the middle of the night and produces straight away the documents the hospital asked for to back them up. Otherwise, they could be sued for imprisoning people. Well, the only ones who cannot actually abduct a child in this case are his own parents, because Alfie is their son. If they are taking him, they are not abducting him. How can they possibly steal something that is already theirs? I want to thank all the courageous supporters of Alfie Army worldwide. You didn't keep silent. You stood up for good. You stood up for life. You stood up for family. You stood up for the weak and for what you believe in. You are straight and clean. Thank you. I mean, because remaining in silence now is the same as being partner in crime. Last but not least, I want to thank you, Alfie. Such a gorgeous little young innocent, peaceful boy that forces us to rethink about what matters in life, what love and compassion means, what being father and mother means. You took the best out of your parents. You made them a father, and what a father, and a mother, and what a mother. You were making us people. You're making us humans. You show what love is. That one can be loved not because of what he does, but because he exists. You're making your parents show so clearly how God, as a father, loves us. Even if we are bad, till the end, giving his own son for us. You show the pure face of God. You certainly are a baby Jesus. It's like the name of the hospital your parents want to take you to. Bambin Jesus is baby Jesus. You show so clearly that all our actions have consequences. Everything we do, to the least of these, we do it to him. I want to tell you this because one day the judgment of God will arrive, if you believe it or not. Since Thomas said Alfie is a son of God, I want to conclude with a very, very famous passage of the Bible from the Exodus. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Go to Pharaoh and say to him, 'This is what the Lord says. Let my people go